Hi, everyone. This is episode 6 of the Heated Library podcast. Forgive the quality of my camera. None of us are licensed Zoom users, so none of us can
We're
afford to pay
poor.
for none of
We
us can
have no
afford to
money.
pay for this on our phones. So I'm having to use a really crappy ThinkPad. It's not even a MacBook, and my work aren't even that elite. So today you'll notice we have Fran. Fran is our guest today on episode 6. So welcome, Franny. We love Fran. And today we're going to talk about sort of the fandom culture, what we love about it, what can be, the bad sides of it, and just what we love about being in a fandom, not just necessarily for heated rivalry, but just in general. So the topics that we're going to sort of go on about today, well, not go on about, that doesn't sound great. You
We're
can
just gonna
tell
yap.
yeah, we're going to yap, which is what we normally do. And you can tell I'm really good at
Love a
hostess,
yap.
which is why we have Danielle here and not me. So when I first went to the guys about topics, because I've been really excited about this, they were all super dark. And Angela, who you've all met, kind of said, no, we don't want this to be depressing. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. So I think the first thing, what I'm not queer, I'm not going to claim to be queer. But and I'm not trying to out anyone here, but I think everyone knows about Alessandra and Fran and AJ. So as the
Yep.
straight white female of the group, the minority for once, my camera's gone really dark.
That's such a shocker for me.
I know, it
I'm
is
not a
for me.
minority.
Such a change.
I'm a minority for once. I thought we could talk about sort of like what Heated Rivalry's done for the, queer representation in the fandom, how it's helped. I don't know. You guys tell me how it's helped, because I can't really comment on it as the straight white female.
Well,
So
we love you for that.
Yeah.
thanks. I feel accepted.
You are.
Thank you for hosting this because I know that out of us three, probably it was never going to work.
No.
We were never going to be able to string together some sentences to start this topic. But maybe Fran, do you want to start as a
As
new
our guest.
kind of our guest?
Oh my God, put me on the spot. I this is literally the conversation that I could like talk about endlessly. I could write a whole dissertation about it. Being queer is very much like my whole personality. Um, like literally in the first 3 seconds of knowing me, like like my whole backstory, like my whole like sexuality, coming to terms with like what I've been through, like everything. So talking about like fandoms and like how being in like such a safe space can like help you figure all of that stuff out. I think it's such a wonderful thing that I've seen through multiple fandoms, not just in the heated rivalry verse, but like every fandom that I've been in, it's just been so welcoming and accepting. And I think for me, that's I've been very lucky with that because I know a lot of fandoms can be very toxic in the sense of like not being as like, accepting as like what I've seen myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like so grateful that this fandom, especially obviously because of what topics it deals with, like you can't have a whole segment about Scott Hunter and like his internalized homophobia and have that represented in the same fandom. Like it just
Yeah.
wouldn't work. It shouldn't work anywhere, but it just, for
Yeah.
like
It
this.
kind of, yeah, it somehow forces you to, if you like and enjoy this content and you relate to the people that are going through that in a fictional sense, then it's almost like you can't really help feeling kind of the same way in real life. And I think that's, kind of it teaches people to look at what is happening outside of their own reality in a way. Because a lot of people, a lot of straight men, straight women don't really think about the realities of being queer in like any context. And potentially showing that to people that had never thought about it is kind of like, oh, okay, so I get it now. And
Mm,
then, in their real
yeah.
life, they kind of become a bit more conscious about it, which I think is
Yeah.
really helpful.
And I
There's
think,
this quote. Sorry,
no, no,
someone
no, go
speaking.
AJ, and then I'll say my point after.
Yeah. There's this quote. I can't remember it word for word, but it's about someone talking about how they finally get to see queer representation on screen, and they were talking about this with someone who was not queer, a straight person, and was like, "Why is everything queer nowadays?" And this person said in response, "For once, I don't have to do the translating about this experience. Now you do."
Yeah.
Mm,
Love that.
Damn.
Yeah.
damn.
I was gonna say because like it's like Fran was saying, it's not just for me, it's not just heated rivalry. Like I'd say my first big introduction to queer culture was Call Me by Your Name, which was
Mm.
I'd say that was a big thing for me. Like I've got tattoos for it. I've read the books. I absolutely adore Call Me by Your Name. And then we've spoken about this on other pods. Like it was a story. It's a story of sadness because obviously they come together, but it ends. But I love
Mm,
the fact that with heat and with heated rivalry, it's not just about sadness. It's about happiness and
Yeah.
that's what I love. Like in the, I don't think I'm articulating myself very well, but even like, so Fran, because we've spoken about like the big group chat as well, not just like what we do. That's how we all met through a big group chat on WhatsApp. But I've never been surrounded by so many like queer people or pan, trans, I don't know, like non-binary, whatever. And it's opened my eyes up and it's made me feel less ignorant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I'll call myself an ally. I will always be an ally. I'll support people in whatever, whoever they are, whatever they need to do. But it's just lovely to see a whole community just accept everyone for who they are. And it's
yeah.
just, there's no outliers, there's no hate, there's no like passive aggressiveness. It's just everyone loves this one thing. And whether it's heated rivalry, whether it's Call Me by Your Name, it could be One Direction, it could be anything. People just love talking to each other and you look past everything else. And I
Mm,
think that's what not look past, that's the wrong thing. You accept people for who
No,
they
but I
are.
get it because you
Yeah.
can't really, you can't claim that you're a heated rivalry fan if like you're homophobic because that just doesn't work.
Exactly.
yeah.
That would be
How
no.
would you
Those
even
two things
be
can't exist
interested
at the
in
same
this?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they
yeah.
cannot. But I think, but that's what I love about this fandom. Like, it's just like and again, I'll reference back to other pods, but I wouldn't know Fran, Alessandra, or AJ without this podcast. And not the podcast, we wouldn't be doing the podcast without it, but I wouldn't know them without heated rivalry. But I can honestly say, like, hand on heart, these are three of the best people I've ever met in my life. And like, Alessandra and Fran and AJ know way too much about me, and I can't let them go because
I
there's
like to
way.
think we don't know enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
We need to know
AJ, I think you
more.
do.
Exactly.
I think you do. Even like I was on a call with Angela earlier this evening, and it's just like the receipts you guys have on me is wild.
All this evidence.
Yeah, but it's just I've never felt safer in a community of people. I've never felt so seen. I've never felt so, I don't know, just comfortable. And like Alessandra, Fran, AJ, you'll know this because we've all spent time together. Like F Alessandra has heard some of my deepest, darkest secrets, as has AJ, as has Fran. And it's just like people who have known me for like 20 years don't know stuff like that. And it's wild how a friendship can be formed over something like this. I'm going to stop
Yeah.
talking and let other people
No,
talk.
I
I
love
think
hearing
you're
you talk.
absolutely right because if you think about it, there is a good chance that people that enjoy one specific thing in such a fundamental way will probably be kind of on the same wavelength about a lot of things.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
mean, I think fandom is one way in which you can make friends that are like-minded in a sense of, it's not just a cool worker, it's not just someone that you meet because of you doing something that you're sort of forced to do in your daily life. This is a space that you're stepping into willingly, and so if people are stepping into this same thing willingly as well, there's a good chance that you're gonna match in some way. And I think that's the beauty of fandom culture, that it does unite people, and if anything there is always going to be one thing that you can talk about,
Yeah,
and by talking about that thing you discover things about yourself and discover things about other people, and then you end up creating really strong bonds. And a lot of my friends that I've made over the years have been through fandom, and I mean, maybe we don't even we aren't even in that fandom anymore, we don't really talk about that thing anymore, but
mm,
that was the main thing that united us at the start. And I
yeah.
think that's a really good starting point for a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to pick up from that, like you said it out, like 100%. There's people that I've known since I was 16. Context, I'm turning 30 this year. So it's it's insane. Like Elle, you mentioned One Direction, like I was fully in that fandom. Most of
Right.
my friends that like from my teenage years are from that fandom. Like but I think, like you said it, Al, like you have that connection. So you have like this fandom that like got us together, and from that we've just expanded. Like
Yeah.
obviously, I'm into F1, so like I
No.
Really?
should I get the flags out and everything. Get my Carl Carls out. I'm not joking. I have one and it's sitting right over there. But you find like almost like other tethers to like branch out in that big group into like subgroups
Yeah.
from like other like interests from like obviously we met through a book chat. That's
Yeah.
how we met.
Mm.
But from that, like we've talked about different books. Like you mentioned Call Me by Your Name. We've talked about the Song of Achilles.
Yeah.
We've talked about like Bridgerton. We've talked about all these other like fandoms and everything. And I think it's just so amazing that fangirl culture is just like this massive thing that just it's not ending. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just won't ever end. Like God forbid we, one day turn around and say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm done with heated rivalry." Never ever gonna happen.
No.
But
No.
I
But
feel so,
even if it did
yeah,
happen, I would still be friends with you guys.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm
You
saying.
go
Yes.
do that, you enjoy heated rivalry. I changed my mind, but I still love you.
Yeah. But
That's what I'm saying.
this is the most important thing, like, and now I'm saying like, I've said to Alice like, so Alessandra is one of the, I mean you all are, but Alessandra has genuinely given me so much confidence this year, and I will say that with my whole chest, like, sorry,
It's contagious. I'm so sorry.
it's fine, but Alessandra's one of the most courageous, beautiful, kind, friendly people that I've ever met, and she encourages me to be more confident. Fran, when we were out, so Fran and I went to a hockey match with, sorry, a hockey game with Dylan the other night, and it's just I've literally it's the first time we've ever done anything for a long period of time, and there was no awkwardness. It's just comfort because I know that there's no judgment, and it's Alessandra and AJ. We had a sleepover, and I think that's the longest I've ever spent in that amount of time with people I haven't met before. Bearing in mind, I've seen like Dylan, Lauren, and Dan for a bit before, but it was just comfort. It's just
Yeah.
that's what I love about fandom. Like you said, I could stop talking about heated rivalry, I could stop talking about Hudson, Connor, whatever. But at the end of the day, I have found some great people, and I couldn't be more grateful. And I think that that's like the best thing about fandom. I will always be a fangirl. I'm 33. It's never going to end. I thought
No.
I'd come out of this. It's never going to
Yeah.
No,
end.
no. Fangirl is just a state of being.
Yes, it is. It
Why did I
really is.
have Pedro Pascal in my head going, Daddy is a state of mind?
Fangirl is a state of mind.
Fangirling is a state of mind.
And you know what? Like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe AJ can speak about this a little bit more, because maybe she remembers a bit better. But when I was in high school, or when I was younger, it's almost like fandom, or being really passionate about something. You mentioned One Direction. I know people who were really passionate about K-pop or something like that. It was almost like something that you had to hide, and then you
Yes.
Yeah.
couldn't really be like out loud about that. It's almost like, oh, it's a shameful thing, and so you build the rest of your relationships in a way that kind of dims that a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
in school or like at work, you don't really feel like you could outright say, oh yeah, I'm a huge One Direction fan, like I go to all the concerts, I know everything by heart, I know like what their cats look like and shit. And if people listen to that, you almost like expected them to be like, oh, that's weird. But
Yeah.
because we met through fandom, there's no hiding and there's no shame, I
Yeah.
suppose, in like around
Yeah.
that. And I feel like that can really free a part of yourself.
Yeah.
Mm.
The kind of also like the silly part a little bit, and the little bit, the questionable things that like fangirling and like screaming about an interview or a picture, like that is also part of you as an adult. You don't,
Yeah.
there's no need to like hide that. And I feel like being in fandom spaces does allow you to keep that a bit more on the surface.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was gonna say AJ, I don't know if like new generations are a bit better about that, but
Yeah. I feel like I should clarify. I'm not in high school anymore. I am an
no,
He's
adult.
but
not,
you
no.
you're closer to that. I was in high school like 10 years ago, man.
No, I just don't want people to think that like the reason
She's
I'm
a
not
big
showing my face
girl.
is because I'm a minor.
No, she's not a minor. I'd like to
I'm
clarify
not.
AJ
She is
is
not.
a big girl, just not
Oh,
as big as the
AJ.
rest of us.
Yeah.
She's really tall though.
She is.
Well, that's debatable.
Well, your height.
I'm pretty
No, the
short, so
perception
for
of
me,
being
you're
tall.
tall.
It's either
AJ,
I'm
go
tall,
ahead.
everyone's just really short. No, but no, but fandom. What I really love is that it's just everyone comes together and just fangirls, because fangirling is basically just loving love and loving what you love all together
Yeah.
and just being
Yeah.
really comfortable in that. And on the topic of like new generations, and see, I think it depends on the kind of fandom, because there's still some kind of topics that people don't entirely accept, or like they kind of
Yeah.
not exactly hate on, but sometimes they're seen as like cringy or overrated. So with music in general, that kind of fandom, usually widely acceptable, no matter where you go. But with things that are maybe more niche, you still sometimes have to be careful, especially depending on location. When I'm in London, I feel generally fine because like there's so many different kinds of people. It's like just a really big area. People have different opinions all the time. But then
Yeah.
when you kind of come out of that with less diversity, like where I'm at now, outside of London in uni, it's it's still inclusive and diverse, just not like what I'm used to. So sometimes I'm still a bit careful, and I try to gauge other people's reactions fast before I bring something up.
No, I agree with that. I'm not gonna air out too much on it, but they're like Fran's a big BTS fan, so my friend's a lot more of a fan than I am. But
Okay.
I got into BTS in like my late 20s, early 30s, and the backlash I got from the people around me, just like, you're too old to like this, you should, why are you going, why, sorry, let me articulate myself better. Why do you like these teenage looking boys with this rubbish pop music? And it's just like, at my heart, I'm a pop girl. Like, I grew up on R&B and
Also,
hip
they're
hop.
grown-ups.
Exactly that. Don't tell anyone, Alessandra, it's a secret. They may look young, but it's just like, but then I found someone at my work. I won't, again, not going to name names, but she is one of like my closest friends, and we loved BTS together, and we fangirled at work. But everyone else was just like, oh, it's weird. But that's what I don't feel like I can talk about heated rivalry with like half of the people I'm around, just because they don't get it. But I've got like
Yeah.
three people at work who send me Hudson gifts just to attack me throughout the day on like Teams. But it's really hard to find your people, and I think that that's why I'm super grateful for like Sarah. Shout out to Saucy Books, because it was her
Yeah.
group chat that got us all here. And like,
Mm.
but I think we also have like downsides, and I think just going on to like another topic, because yeah, fandom's great, I love fandoms, I think we all do, we've all said that, but there can be some super toxic sides to it, especially with like the way that fans react to the stars. Like, for example, I'll bring up an example. You can see him there, Hudson. I'm
I
not
love the
weird.
zoom in.
I'm not weird, I
That was
promise.
very
Okay,
ominous.
zoom back, zoom back. Okay, zoom is not. Oh my God, what have I done? Okay,
I
we're gonna
mean,
get a close up of me now. Um,
just zoom on Zoom.
I don't know how
Zoom,
to do
zoom,
that, AJ.
zoom.
I'm not
No,
techie.
we're on Zoom and you're
Oh
zoomed in
right,
on
yeah,
Zoom.
okay, fair enough. Anyways, yeah, but there have been some super weird things. Oh my God, this there we go. There have been some very weird things coming up on like my TikTok, for example, where it's like I'm not gonna go into the examples because I don't want to give air to them, but like people just acting super weird and thinking that they're entitled to know about the inner workings of like Hudson and Connor's lives and like speculating on their
Mhm.
relationships. And I don't feel like I'm privy to that information, and I'm sure the rest of you will agree. I respect them as
Yeah.
But
actors.
also, I don't want to know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right?
I
Like,
don't, I don't care.
No, neither do I, but this is where I think it can get quite unhealthy. Like 'cause none of us care. Like, yeah, we had a fangirl moment over how great Caitlyn looked at the Oscars, but then we left it at that and moved on very quickly. It's not, I'm not sitting there like hyper fixated on her dress and oh my God, she had this. I just think that sometimes it can get a bit toxic, and I don't like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
As
it's, oh, yeah, go ahead.
go Al, I've got like a whole thing about
No,
Oh,
something.
yeah. I mean, I think I'll be quick because obviously Fran is the guest. So, um, I was just thinking, I feel like sometimes with fandom, well, with fandom, but also with people in general within
yeah,
fandom, I think we talk about these people so much that we feel like there's almost like a level of familiarity with them, and then
yeah,
we tend to forget that those are real people that we've never met, and you know you wouldn't necessarily talk about a stranger that like somebody you don't know and somebody you've never seen and somebody that doesn't know that you exist in a certain way, but because they are public figures and because they are on our minds so much, we kind of collectively you feel like there is more, you're more allowed to talk about it. There's more leeway in terms of the things that you
yeah,
can say or the things that you can even think. Because, I wouldn't want to know where, I don't know, if I meet someone at work, I don't really want to know what their house looks like. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, or like, I don't want to know what they're doing on their day off. Like, it's almost like you feel you feel kind of entitled to their identity in a way.
yeah.
And I think
Hmm.
sometimes it can get easy to get like sort of take a bit,
Like swept away with it.
yeah, you can get really kind of you can get really into it, not noticing it, and then it's important to take a step back and be like, okay, is this affecting their lives in some way? Is this something that actually, if you look at it from the outside, is really weird? And then you're like, all right, I'm just gonna go for a walk, yeah.
I'm gonna go and touch grass.
Literally. That's such a good point that you said about like them working. Like us fangirling about them at the Oscars and how good they looked. They're doing their job.
Yeah,
They're at a corporate event, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're allowed to be like, oh my God, he looks so good. Did you see? Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's when people see them in the street or if they're with family, if they're with their friends, and they're like, oh my God, he wasn't with her. That means they're broken up. Oh my God, that means that he's dating this. And it's like, that is his private life. He's
yeah,
not doing an event. He's not filming. He's not working. You don't know this man. He is a stranger to you. When he is doing his job, playing that actor in that show that you love, then by all means, you can be as whatever you want about it because at the end of the day, he is getting paid to do that for us.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's a good way of putting it. I
That,
think
that was so
that's a
like,
good way of it. No, no, no. I think I agree. I think to an extent, what I will say is that part of fandom and part of the fun stuff is also speculation, and it's also
hmm,
kind of gossiping a little bit about the life that these people are leading and kind of what they're doing, and
yeah,
kind of wonder, okay, what's he going to do next, and like, oh, I wonder what this person is. It adds a bit
hmm,
of fun to it, and I think there's no harm in that necessarily. I think there's a line, however, and I think the
yeah,
line
yeah,
comes when you start being disrespectful about it, um,
hmm,
and kind of you start saying things or maybe mentioning things or just even thinking things that you probably wouldn't think of someone that you could meet in person. I think if you start saying things about significant others or
hmm,
potential friends or relationships or how they're leading their lives that are effectively to their core disrespectful to that individual,
yeah,
then that stops being something fun that you do with your friends and like talk about it, and it
yeah,
becomes some sort of thing that is not necessarily useful to anything or anyone.
hmm, a
Sorry,
hundred
I have a
percent.
lot of opinions about this.
No,
No,
like 100%. I think at the core, it's all about respectfulness.
Yeah.
It's you have to make that decision for yourself.
Yeah.
Um, if what you're saying is too much, because like you said, they see it all.
Yeah,
Like
they
they're all
do.
online, they see everything. Like there is, I know, controversial. In fandoms, you will always have fans that ship actors together, like
Yeah.
real life people,
Larry, for
RPF.
example.
Yeah.
Larry, I will get onto because that is a whole
Okay.
segment.
Just to
Um,
say, we have 10 minutes. So, because
We
we're poor
do?
and we don't
Oh,
pay.
wow.
Yeah. So go,
Yeah.
Fran, go.
But don't worry because there's going to be a part two to
Yes,
this.
there is.
segue. Um, yeah, I'll lead on to like basically that, but it's like I said, it's all about being respectful. Um, it's kind of like an unspoken rule that if you are in a fandom and you are into RPF, real people fan fiction or fan art, whatever, um, is that you don't tag them, you don't
Yes.
name names,
Yeah.
and you try as hard as you can for them not to see it. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, we can't stop people from what they like what they enjoy. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not harmful to said people. Um, it's when it gets to that level where it's parasocial and people are inserting themselves into said people's lives
Yeah.
that's when you kind of have to take a step back and you have to be like, they don't know you. Like,
Exactly.
they don't know who you are, girl.
No, but I think that that's like the best thing. Like what Alessandra was saying, I don't want people wondering what I wear to bed or like or
Yeah,
what
no.
I'm eating for dinner or what me
Because
and
you
Fran are
know
gonna
that
do
she's wearing
tomorrow.
Hidden Rivalry merch.
I mean, but we move.
You have the t-shirt. I love the
I do.
t-shirt.
It's my comfy t-shirt because it looks like a dress. I tend to order too big, but I don't want people knowing about the inner workings of my life, and I doubt that Hudson, Connor, Francois, Robbie, whoever it is, Madonna, who cares? It could be anyone. I don't think anyone care. I don't think anyone. I don't think. Oh my, I don't know what I'm saying, but yes, that's my point. It's we don't
Everyone's
really
entitled to
know
their privacy.
exactly
Yeah,
that. Thank you,
exactly.
AJ. You're far cleverer than me, and we've said this before. But my brain goes too quickly, and then I'm just like 5,000 thoughts. But I think as long as you're respectful, and as long as you know where to draw a boundary, then that's like the best thing. Like, yes,
Definitely.
we all know and mentioned in previous podcasts, I love the timid shoot. I don't think I've ever mentioned that anywhere,
Really,
but
Ellie?
I'm not,
Interesting. I wonder why.
Mm.
don't know. I'm not going to go into the reasons on here that you'll have to pay me. I'll do another podcast just on that for a couple of hours. But it's just, I know that he is. I'm never gonna. If I ever meet Hudson, he's not gonna fall in love with me, and we're not gonna run away into Vancouver or wherever he is. Like I can appreciate him. No, girl,
You never know.
don't get me parasocial. But that's the whole point of this podcast. But I
I
am
I will
Prime
always be that
example
girl
of
that's
restraint.
like, yes.
so I'm respectful with it. I respect him as a person and as an actor, and the influence he's had on me to like want to be more confident. And he's brought me you guys, and I'm super helpful, happy. But I think that that's where I draw the line. Love watching an edit. Who doesn't love Cowboy Shane? But again, that's Cowboy Shane.
Yeah.
So it's not Cowboy Hudson. It's, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think has the proverbial be freaks, but be respectful freaks. That's
yes,
the whole
thank you,
point. You
Alessandra.
can thirst, you can scream, you can like have dreams about whoever you want, but maybe
Yes.
don't message them about it, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is, I think, the best way that you could have said it. And that's
Yeah.
why you're
Thank
my
you.
clever girl. But that sounded weird. Get Demi to cut that out. But I'm super grateful for being a fangirl. I feel like it makes me my happiest self.
Mm.
It's who I am at my core. I love and I love to love people and I like being passionate about something. Like there's group speculation that like Fran Dylan and I are in like a polycule or whatever. Like we all have our own pairings. I'm a lover girl at heart. But at the end of the day, I think it's just I couldn't be more grateful for heated rivalry, for fandoms, all of that. And I think that's probably just like the best way to wrap it up. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have you guys without it. My life would be so freaking boring without you guys. I would be in a beige sky. And now I've got Connor as the Teletubby son, and I couldn't be happier. So I don't know
I
if
love
anyone else
that.
wants to say their parts on why they're grateful. I don't know. Go for it. Someone else speak instead of me. Please.
Okay. Um, yeah, so I love being a fangirl. I love that we have this community among us of being respectful, fangirling, and just to emphasize on what Jacob said before about how Shane and Ilya belong to the fandom and we can fangirl as much as we want about them, but then Hudson and Connor belong to themselves. And I like that how we as our community just respect their privacy and respect them as people because everyone is a person at the end of the day and we can love their work and respect them as people at the same time.
No,
Well
Perfectly said,
said.
AJ.
No notes.
None.
This is why, the rest of us are completely unqualified to be in a podcast.
And AJ is.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh
getting
no, girl.
upstaged by the rookie guys. Come on.
It happens every time, honestly,
Literally.
Fran. It
It
happens
happens
every
way
time.
more than you would think.
Yeah, AJ's probably oh God. With the
She's
age gap,
upstaging us
yeah,
at every
AJ is
given possibility.
our guide in life, to be fair.
Yeah.
She keeps us all on
Fran,
track.
Fran, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Thoughts?
Um, yeah, I think as someone whose whole personality is literally being a fangirl, like I can't have one conversation without quoting someone from something. Um, it's such a huge part of my life. Like I've been online since I was like, what, 10 years old? I don't remember a time when I wasn't in a fandom of some kind. Um, and like Ellie said, like I genuinely would not have the life I have if I wasn't in multiple fandoms, knowing multiple people from said fandoms. And I'm just so thankful that I did my own heated rivalry then. And some of the girls from our group chat were like, you need to get in this group chat. You need to be involved in this. Because without them, I wouldn't have met you guys. And my life wouldn't be as amazing as it is. So,
Oh, AJ, you're so cute. I don't know. As soon as you said that, Fran, I just got Justin Bieber Go Baby stuck in my head. So I was just like, there's my baby. She's iconic. But yeah, Alessandra, do you want to wrap us up? Because we have 2 minutes left. Go for it,
Yeah, I
darling.
mean, I think this is just sort of half of the topics that we wanted to cover about fandom and about, fan culture. But overall, I think we are all very grateful that we can exist in a place in the world, even if it's in the ether because it's a big group chat, where everyone can kind of voice their thoughts, their opinions. We can all freak out together, but within, still the conception, within the realities of them being people. And I think this is kind of slightly, I suppose it's like you don't really you kind of have to work through it. Like you have to get used to it, because fandom is like something that if it's your first fandom, you don't really know what you're doing, and like everyone seems so crazy. But once you get into the groove of it, it can be so good and it can give you so much. So just, if you love something, I would say, step into the fan culture around that thing, and you might be able to find some great people that you will share lots of good memories with, and it's always worth it, I think.
Yes.
I completely agree. And we've
love
got less
that.
than a minute, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Fran, for joining us. We love you, and we'll see you in part two. Alessandra, AJ, and myself, adieu. I don't know what I'm saying. Goodbye. Love you all.
And
Thank you so much.
Fangirling.
Yeah.
Love you. The sounds included in the message. Thank you so much for listening. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye.
Bye.